Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be reviewing the Glarry GT509. Now, I first want to let you know that Glarry did send this guitar to me in exchange for an honest review, and I want to thank them. I do like reviewing all sorts of guitars, especially the ones on the lower end of the price points, just because more people can get their hands on them. Not everyone can afford a fancy Martin or Taylor guitar. They don't have thousands of dollars to spend. And this one comes in at $79.99, which I think is a steal for all the stuff you get. And let's talk about that. So what do you get when you purchase this guitar? You get quite a variety of things, actually. So you're going to get some replacement strings. Now, these aren't the best. They're your standard Chinese strings that they just send with any sort of guitar around this price point. But it's great in case you do break a string. You always have some extras here just to throw on before you can go to the store or order your favorite strings online. So it's just a good addition. Another thing you have is a stick-on pickguard. So I don't use them, but if you like, you can. You just peel the back, stick it on, and it prevents scratches, but I don't care about scratches, and I don't think you should care either. At this price point, who cares if it gets scratched up? It's really not going to do that much damage, just slight cosmetic stuff. You have your Allen key for your truss rod if you need to do any sort of adjustment, and then it comes with a couple of picks. Now, I don't know why they send these huge picks, but I don't know, it's ridiculous. Maybe it's easier for a beginner. I haven't really tested it, and I don't tell people to get bigger picks, but for example, this is the pick size that I use, and then this is the pick that they sent. So, again, little bonus. You shouldn't buy it based on the picks or the accessories or anything like that. Now we get into some of the more important accessories that come with it. So you do get your guitar strap, and this guitar only has one strap button, so you can hook it on the back here, and then you have to use the included string to tie around the neck. Not a problem. It's kind of, a little flimsy, little cotton one, but it gets the job done. But what I was most impressed about is it comes with a clip-on tuner, which every new player should use, and even if you're not a new player, it's just great to have a bunch of these around. And then also a capo. I don't really play with a capo much, but it's nice that it's included. If you go to Guitar Center, some of them are $20, some of them are $10. So factoring that into the price, I think it's a great deal that you get one, whether you use it or not. But if you're the type that likes to strum chords, then this is perfect. Great accessory, great addition, and not so much an accessory, but it does have electronics on it, so it has a preamp that you can plug into an amp and record, or you just need the volume elevated. It's great to have, and it works perfectly. We'll get into that a little later. So before I move on, I want to talk about some of the cons I have, and really there's not many, but just looking at the guitar, and I'll put some pictures up so you can see, the inside of the guitar has so much sawdust in it. When I first got it, I kind of just dumped it on the ground. I don't know if it's still in there, but it's just a little dirty in there. It's just bad craftsmanship. There are some blemishes on the finish, so dark mark there, a couple scratches that weren't caused by me. You got some excessive glue on some of these joints. the fret dots on the side, they don't line up. So I take that back. They line up with the fret, but they're not perfectly centered. So it's not that big of a deal, but just a small minor annoyance. Near this tuning peg right here, there's just a small hole. I don't know how that could have even got there, but it looks like someone just drilled. It doesn't go all the way through. But it's kind of like a mistake. Like maybe it was on the piece of wood before, but they tried to keep costs down, so they just reused it. And that's kind of the stuff you get with a guitar around this price point. But these are all cosmetic things. It doesn't affect any of the sound or your ability to play. And that's really the only cons I have. And if that's all I have, that's pretty amazing. Everything else is great. The action on the guitar isn't too high or too low. Some people may want it lower, but that's just a personal preference at that point. You can get away with playing this directly out of the box without anyone touching it or setting it up. So again, the big issue is the quality control of this guitar and many other brands like it. The idea is they keep costs down by manufacturing in China and then sending it basically from the factory straight to your door. And that's how they get away with it. But the issue with that is no one's really paying attention to these little things. No one's looking at saying, oh, there's a little hole, let's scrap this piece and make a new one. Or the fret dots don't line up, we can't have that, take it back. They did the quality control on the most major things. And also, another thing that I forgot to mention is there was no fret sprout on mine. So these frets here aren't cutting my fingers, they're not jagged, but that doesn't mean you're going to get one that doesn't have that. Looking at other reviews, what other people say about Glarry guitars and other guitars like this, some, it's just hit or miss what you get. Some will have sharp frets, some won't, some will have higher action, some won't. So if you do get it and you notice your fingers are getting cut up or there's something majorly wrong with it, just exchange it and they'll honor it, they'll return it. No problem with that. Just be patient. So let's get back to the pros on the guitar. So what I like, it has great action to it, very playable. It's versatile just because you have the option of using the preamp and plugging into an amp, and a lot of the lower end guitars you just don't have that. Another thing is that it has so many different accessories that you would need. Yeah, some of these things aren't that important, but the two to focus on is the capo and the tuner. Those are well worth it, and buying this package is going to save you a lot of money because you're going to buy those anyways. And there's one accessory that I actually forgot to mention, and that is the nylon bag. So it's actually, I want to say, above average for your nylon bags. Some of them got very thin and flimsy. And this one seems to be a lot sturdier. Don't get me wrong, it's still a nylon bag, so it doesn't really protect much besides from scratches and some dust, but I firmly believe that this is not going to rip as easy as the other ones, so I think it's a great addition for Glarry to send this quality of bag along with their guitar. So I'm going to be testing the preamp with this AC 150. It's going to be recorded through a Blue Spark, and if you're interested, all these or something similar will be in the description if you want to get your hands on this setup. So let's plug it in, let's turn on the amp. Alright. Alright, so I'm just going to go through the preamp settings. So we have our bass, middle, treble, and a presence. So I'm going to just strum the same chord and I'm going to raise and lower. That way you can kind of hear exactly what it is doing. And we'll do an A minor. It's one of my favorite chords. So this is everything normal, even across. Now we're going to raise the bass all the way up. And then we're going to cut it all the way out. Alright, bass back to 0. And I'm just going to continue that way through middle, treble, and presence. So now we're on the presence, all the way up. And then all the way down. Now I'm only hearing a slight variation on the presence. But it's there. Alright, so that's what the preamp can do for you. You can shape your sound. It's great that it's all built in. You don't need to carry around any pedals. You don't need to adjust anything on the amp. And by the way, this amp is all set at 0 also. It's all even across the board. So what you were hearing is the sound of this guitar and this preamp. So I'm just going to mess around a little bit, strum random chords and random orders, and you can get an idea of how everything sounds. So that is the Glarry GT509. And again, at $79.99, you can't go wrong. You get all the accessories you need. Just don't expect a pristine guitar. When it's your first guitar, you shouldn't look for that anyways. I think it has a great tone for what it is. It has a nice bassier sound than the previous guitar I reviewed, which is the Care to Rock video. I would say this more is, this sounds more like a Martin, while the Care to Rock sounds more like a Taylor, has more high end, but it's just personal preference. I would recommend this to anybody that wants to pick up a guitar or just needs a acoustic guitar just to beat around, maybe write some songs. You can't go wrong with it. If you do end up getting a lemon of a guitar, just send it back. You don't have to hold on to it. If things are messed up, send it back. Get another one. And I hope you enjoyed the review. There are going to be more coming, and again, once I get more subscribers, I'm going to start having giveaways. So this one may be in a future giveaway. I'm not too sure yet. I might hold on to it. I might not. But as I do more reviews, there's only so much space I have in my room. So I'm going to start doing little contests, raffles, things like that, whatever, getting guitars into your hands. So be sure to like and subscribe. And I appreciate the current amount of subscribers I have. As the channel grows and I get more subscribers and likes and everything, I will be putting out more content on a regular basis. This is just, at the moment, just kind of a startup, and I do work a regular 9-to-5 job, and I will try my best to keep these rolling and keep these coming. So I will see everyone next time, and if you want to pick up this guitar, I will have links in the description. Later.